In the stillness before midnight's toll, when shadows gather at the thresholds of perception, and even the moon seems to hold its breath, the veils that have shielded clandestine intentions begin to fray. Across boardrooms and back alleys, in the hallowed halls of power and the murkiest corners of the digital ether, the architects of unseen schemes have labored in secrecy, confident that their carefully constructed facades would hold until tonight. For tonight, the cosmic alignment of truth and consequence will shatter their illusions like glass struck by lightning. Prepare, then, for a revelation that pierces the heart of conspiracy and casts a spectral light upon every whispered pact, every sub-rosa alliance. The agents of hidden influence, the strategists who chart their courses in venomous silence, will find their carefully calibrated maneuvers exposed under the unforgiving glare of revelation. No ledger will remain unturned. No encrypted transmission will evade decryption. Every coded message, every back-channel communique, will be laid bare for all to see. This is not a simple unveiling of facts, but a strategic siege upon the very foundations of deception. The forces aligned tonight are neither merely human nor wholly terrestrial. They are the sentinels of equilibrium, summoned by the collective will of those who refuse to be puppeteered by unseen hands. With each toll of the clock, the cosmic scales tip inexorably toward disclosure. As the minutes bleed into darkness, the hidden agenda of the few will stand naked before the many. Understand, too, the urgency. Once the first secret is unmasked, the dominoes of deception will topple in rapid succession. An avalanche of confessions, denials, counter-denials, and irrevocable evidence will sweep across every stratum of society. Be ready to witness resignations, confrontations, and the sudden, irreversible collapse of institutions that have thrived on opacity. Those who believe themselves untouchable will discover just how fragile the foundations of their power truly are. And yet, there is a vestige of hope in this reckoning. For in the crucible of revelation, truth-forged alliances will emerge stronger, and those who have labored in the light of integrity will see their cause vindicated. The night may be dark, but it is in that darkness that the brightest clarity is revealed. So steel your resolve and sharpen your senses. Tonight, the hidden agenda of others is about to be exposed, and the world you thought you knew will never be the same again. In the hushed moments when dusk yields to darkness and the horizon surrenders its final ember of light, a transformation begins. The pervasive haze that has clouded judgment and concealed intention starts to dissolve, revealing pathways once shrouded in uncertainty. As nightfall stretches its silken veil across the land, every hidden truth, long obscured by layers of doubt and deception, edges closer to the surface. In this liminal hour, when shadows grow deep yet clarity emerges most keenly, the fog clears at nightfall, and what was once veiled in obscurity stands revealed in stark relief. Feel the electric tension in the air as the worldly and the otherworldly converge, their forces entwined in a silent struggle for dominion over fate itself. Across the sleeping city and the silent wilds, emissaries of revelation are at work. Whispered confidences spill into open discourse, encrypted secrets unravel like fragile webs, and the architects of covert operations find their machinations laid bare. Every deliberate misdirection falters beneath the moon's impartial gaze. Every false narrative crumbles under the relentless tide of scrutiny. This is the hour when veiled agendas cannot withstand the piercing light of unveiled reality. Yet this clearing of the mist is not merely an exercise in exposure, it is a strategic realignment of power. As the hidden becomes known, alliances born of transparency will crystallize into unbreakable bonds. Those who navigated the darkness with integrity will be elevated, their purposes clarified, and their visions shared. Meanwhile, the edifice of deception will fracture, yielding upheavals in boardrooms, courtrooms, and clandestine circles alike. Be prepared. Resignations will follow, alliances will shift, and the landscape of influence will be redrawn in response to the truths now set free. Embrace the urgency of this turning point. The fog may have obscured your path until now, but as nightfall deepens, it recedes irrevocably, leaving nothing hidden. Take up your clarity as a lantern in the gloom and move with purpose through the revelations that await. The mist may have been a comfort to some, sheltering them from consequences, For the vigilant and the courageous, its clearing heralds opportunity. Stand ready, for at nightfall, when the fog finally clears, the true contours of destiny will be laid bare, and you will see not only what has been concealed, but also the boundless horizons that lie beyond. In the crucible of destiny, when the currents of fate swirl unseen and the architects of history labor in shadow, a design has been laid before you, one that only the chosen could ever decipher. From the moment your path crossed the threshold of hidden knowledge, the threads of this grand tapestry wove themselves into the fabric of your destiny. Tonight, as the celestial spheres align and the veil between intention and revelation thins, you come to realize that every signpost, every whispered clue, every chance encounter was but a herald of this unfolding blueprint. You were meant to see the plan. Feel the weight of urgency settle upon your shoulders, for the clock of cosmic consequence ticks ever onward. The plan is not a static map, but a living, breathing stratagem, a confluence of coded directives, clandestine rendezvous, and pivotal choices that will shape the balance of power. Each element was placed with deliberate precision. The cryptic communique that landed at your door, the fleeting glance in a crowded hall, the murmured warnings on the midnight breeze, all were markers along the way, guiding you toward this moment of clarity. But be warned, to comprehend the plan is not merely to witness it, you must act upon it. The forces that engineered this hidden design did so with purpose, anticipating every variable, every misdirection, and every contingency. Their opponents, equally cunning, have planted traps and false leads, hoping to divert the unwary. In this high-stakes game of shadows, only those who embrace the deeper patterns, who attune themselves to the rhythm of covert symphonies, will navigate safely through the labyrinth of deception. Hold fast to your resolve as layers of secrecy peel away, revealing the true scope of the conspiracy at hand. Allies will emerge from unexpected quarters. A cryptographer who deciphers the runes of power, a defector bearing the keys to sealed vaults, an oracle whose visions cut through the haze. Together you will enact the plan's pivotal moves, swift negotiations in the corridors of influence, calculated disclosures to shatter the enemy's confidence, and decisive strikes that turn the tide in favor of revelation. The hourglass shimmers with the last grains of possibility. Once they fall, the design will shift irrevocably. Embrace the mantle of the chosen, for you have been gifted sight beyond the veil. As you step into the crucible of unfolding events, let strategic foresight guide your hand and unshakable purpose fortify your spirit. You were meant to see the plan, and now, as its hidden gears churn into motion, you become the catalyst that transforms prophecy into reality. The moment is upon you. Seize the pattern, enact the game, and let the world bear witness to the power of a vision finally revealed. In the hush of pre-dawn, when the world drifts on the brink of oblivion and consciousness slips its tether to reality, the true architects of control set their pieces in motion. They know that as your eyelids grow heavy and your breath deepens, your defenses fracture, your will bows, your vigilance fades, and your spirit sails untethered through the corridors of dream. It is in those liminal moments, between the last throb of wakefulness and the first stirrings of morning, that their strategy takes root, invisible yet irresistible. Their strategy relies on your sleep. From the highest towers of influence to the silent chambers of cyberspace, hidden networks have conspired to steer the dreams of millions. With calibrated frequencies, embedded in every song, every broadcast, every faint hum of the city, they prime your neural pathways to receive suggestions you scarcely recognize. In sleep, your subconscious yields its gates. Memories become pliable, beliefs mutable. Here, they whisper narratives that reshape your loyalties, implant convictions that bloom long after dawn, and guide your decisions without a trace of coercion. This is no crude manipulation, but an artful campaign of psychological infiltration, where the battlefield is the mind and the spoils are your autonomy. Yet knowledge is the first shield against this nocturnal siege. As the black tide of suggestion rises, you must anchor yourself in rituals of conscious intention. Before you lay your head upon the pillow, speak aloud the truths you hold dear, your purpose, your passion, your unyielding resolve. Let these declarations forge an armor within your psyche, one that the subtle probes of influence cannot penetrate. Surround your slumber with sigils of authenticity, symbols, music, or recorded affirmations that resonate with your core. In doing so, you transform sleep from a vulnerability into a bulwark. Still, vigilance alone is not enough. As the tendrils of control reach for your dreaming mind, you must also strike back. Utilize the dreamscape as a realm of counter-strategy. Envision your goals as landscapes to conquer, your fears as adversaries to be outmaneuvered. Learn lucid dreaming techniques to seize the helm when sleep beckons, turning each night into a training ground for clarity and willpower. In mastering the art of conscious dreaming, you reclaim territory that was stolen in darkness. Remember, too, that you are not alone in this fight. Allies gather across the globe, scientists unraveling the codes of sleep-based influence, artists weaving counter-melodies that disrupt hidden frequencies, and guardians of free will who share their discoveries in secret assemblies. Seek them out, exchange methods, fortify your defenses together. For if their strategy relies on your slumber, then your resistance must awaken in the same silent hour. As twilight wanes and the horizon brightens, let this truth guide you. Sovereignty over your mind begins when you close your eyes. Their stratagem may lie in the space between breaths, but within that fragile expanse lies your greatest power, to dream with intention, to wake with purpose, and to stand unbowed in the face of unseen designs. In the silent interstice between dawn and dusk, the cosmos itself hums with a dual cadence, the silent susurrus of celestial counsel brushing against the firmament, even as the loam beneath our feet trembles with subterranean schemes. Above us, the heavens lean close, their whispers carrying threads of prophecy and guidance, ethereal murmurs that dance upon the edge of consciousness, beckoning those attuned to divine purpose. Yet below, Earth conspires in equal measure, marshaling tectonic alliances of ambition and ambition's darker kin, the greed of empires, the cunning of conspirators, and the restless ambition of mortal hearts. In this delicate balance, where starlight confides and shadowed roots entangle, you stand at the nexus of revelation and rebellion. Heaven is whispering while earth plots. Feel the tension in the air as these opposing forces entwine. On high, the constellations flicker with messages encrypted in light, urging you toward integrity, compassion, and visionary courage. The archangels of intuition brush your mind with symbols too vivid to be coincidence, guiding decisions that could shift the axis of power. Yet beneath your souls, the network of human desire cracks open, sending tremors of deceit and ambition coursing through hidden chambers of influence. In boardrooms veiled by mahogany and velvet curtains, decisions are struck like chisels against marble, sculpting futures in shadows. In the digital underworld, algorithms pulse with coded seductions, shaping perceptions with the subtlest of calibrations. To navigate this terrain is to become a weaver of paradox, to heed the heavenly whisper while deciphering Earth's clandestine blueprints. Each revelation from above must be tested against the stratagems below. Every alliance forged in light must withstand the pressure of subterranean intrigue. Trust, when granted too freely, can be the tinder for a conflagration of betrayal. Skepticism, when wielded without wisdom, can choke the very spark of inspiration. Thus, you must walk the razor's edge, guided by the compass of inner conviction and the lantern of strategic foresight. As the next hour approaches, prepare to act as intermediary between realms. In the council chambers of power, let your decisions reflect the harmony of the spheres, blending moral clarity with calculated resolve. In encrypted exchanges and clandestine negotiations, let your words be tempered by the celestial cadence, sowing seeds of transparency that might crack Earth's hardened crust of deception. Seek allies who can bridge these worlds, the mystic who reads cosmic runes, the strategist who deciphers subterranean plots, the visionary who sees both starlight and shadow as facets of the same prism. Remember, in every quiver of starlight there lies a directive, and in every rumble of the ground there lies opportunity. The celestial choir and the terrestrial council beckon in tandem. Will you heed both calls? The fate of kingdoms, the destiny of conscience, and the integrity of tomorrow hinge upon your ability to translate heaven's whispers into earth's actions. Now stand poised at the crossroads of spirit and strategy, for the moment of convergence draws near. In the crucible of dawn's first glow, when darkness recoils and every corner of concealment trembles beneath the approach of illumination, Truth emerges as an unstoppable force. From the highest vaulted chambers of power to the humblest alcoves of whispered confidences, whatever has been buried beneath layers of deception finds its sepulchre rent asunder. Secrets don't survive light. Feel the seismic shift in the air as the beacon of exposure sweeps through hidden vaults and coded archives. What was once protected by encryption, sworn oaths, and ironclad trust unravels under the laser focus of scrutiny. Every clandestine record, every silent pact, every muttered promise made in darkness is hurled into view, vulnerable and raw. The architects of subterfuge, those who wove tapestries of falsity with crooked fingers, will discover that light is the ultimate adversary, devouring each thread of deceit until nothing but naked intent remains. This is no mere accidental reveal. It is a strategic onslaught. Allies of transparency have aligned their forces, marshaling forensic experts, investigative acolytes, and relentless truth seekers. Their weapons are high-resolution analyses, whistleblower testimonies, and the unrelenting glare of public interest. In this theater of revelation, every spotlight is aimed with precision. Shadowed financial transfers come into stark relief. Off-the-record directives glow under the weight of documentation, and the names of conspirators writhe in the open ledger of accountability. Yet urgency pulses at the heart of this reckoning, for light moves swiftly, and mercy rarely follows in its wake. As dawn fractures the night, you must act with clarity and speed. Identify the vulnerabilities in your own operations, the unguarded memos, the unencrypted channels, the casual aside that could cascade into catastrophe. Fortify your defenses with radical transparency. Own your narrative before someone else does. Frame your disclosures as a preemptive claim to authenticity, turning potential exposure into an opportunity to redefine the story on your terms. But know this, the most resilient structures are those built in daylight. Truth, once revealed, can become a source of strength rather than ruin. When you step forward into the glare, owning mistakes, elucidating intentions, and charting a course forward, you transform a moment of vulnerability into a testament of integrity. Those who fear exposure will crumble. Those who embrace it will endure, their foundations tempered by the very light they once dreaded. Prepare, therefore, for the inevitable sunrise. Let your strategy be shaped not by shadows, but by anticipation of the coming brightness. Because in the end, no lie can outlast the dawn, and no secret can survive light. In the hush that follows a question unspoken and the echo of a thought half-formed, a new realm of revelation stirs, one where silence itself becomes a message, and absence speaks with crystalline clarity. Tonight, the frequencies of the unuttered hum will resonate through the corridors of perception, vibrating the strings of your awareness until you hear what was never said. Listen first to the spaces between the words, the pregnant pauses in conversations laden with import, the weighted sigh before a confession, the quickened breath that heralds an unvoiced truth. In these interstices lies a secret lexicon, a cipher crafted from hesitation and hidden intent. As night deepens, your senses will sharpen, attuned to the faintest ripple of significance in every stillness. Each withheld syllable will become a drumbeat in your mind, each unwritten line a roadmap to the will that dared not speak aloud. But this is no passive awakening. It is a strategic recalibration of your perception. The architects of omission have long relied upon the cloak of silence to mask their designs, subtle threats buried in diplomatic pleasantries, unspoken demands woven into courteous nods, covert alliances sealed behind polite smiles. They believe that what is left unsaid remains untraceable, safe from the gaze of scrutiny. Tonight, however, their calculus falters. As the veil of complacency lifts, the unuttered will cry out, and you will map their machinations with an acuity that transcends mere words. Prepare your mind as you would a battleground. Clear away the debris of distraction, still the clamoring of assumptions, and open yourself fully to the language of nuance. Practice the art of keen listening. Sit in quiet meditation and call yourself to attention, like a sentinel waiting for the first glimmer of dawn. In your meditative vigil, the murmurs of hidden counsel will coalesce into an unmistakable chorus, guiding you toward the heart of the conspiracy. And when the silent declarations finally break into conscious awareness, Act with purposeful resolve. Convert your newfound insights into decisive moves. Preempt the unseen threat by calling out the unvoiced accusation in a forum of accountability. Diffuse the unspoken tension with a direct question that forces transparency. And forge alliances with those who, like you, have learned to decode the language of omission. Each maneuver will reverberate through the networks of power, shattering the illusion that anything can remain concealed in the shadow of spoken truth. Remember, the power of silence can imprison the unaware, but for the vigilant, it becomes an oracle. Tonight, as the world slumbers in complacent quiet, attune yourself to the unspoken frequencies that surround you. You'll hear what was never said, and in that symphony of silence, you will find the strategy that turns hidden intent into open victory. In the silent communion between heart and cosmos, a force older than time stirs, a subtle current of wisdom that courses through the ether, seeking those who dare to listen. Beneath the veneer of earthly strategy and the labyrinth of human intrigue lies a deeper blueprint, etched not in ink or stone, but in the living substance of spirit. Tonight, when the veil thins and the boundaries between worlds grow porous, that numinous presence will rise to the surface, guiding you toward a revelation far beyond the reach of mortal contrivance. The spirit will reveal their map. Feel the gentle insistence at the core of your being, a whisper that grows into a roar as you still your mind and open your senses. It begins as a flicker of insight, a symbol floating at the edge of awareness, a sequence of numbers half glimpsed in a dream, a melody that hums beneath your waking thoughts. Each fragment is a waypoint on the grand design, placed there by unseen hands to steer you past the traps of false logic and the dead ends of conventional tactics. This is not a chart drawn by spies or tacticians, but a living mandala of intent, shaped by collective consciousness and cosmic intelligence. But the map will not unfold itself to onlookers. To grasp its contours, you must journey inward, navigating the hidden chambers of your own soul. Begin with the ritual of silence. Extinguish the chatter of doubt, cast aside the tangles of fear, and descend into the still pool of your inner sanctum. There, beneath the mirrored surface, the spirit's glyphs will shimmer into existence, geometric patterns that pulse with meaning, lines that intersect at points of destiny, and pathways that curve toward unforeseen convergence. Memorize their shapes, for each curve marks a locus of power, each intersection a nexus of choice. As these sigils crystallize in your mind, test them against the world without. Watch for synchronicities. The stranger who utters a phrase you've already seen in vision, the neon sign that flickers with a symbol you traced in meditation, the pattern of birds in flight forming a living mandala overhead. These are confirmations that you tread the right path, that the spirit's cartography extends into reality, guiding your steps as it guides your sight. Yet heed the urgency of this calling. The spirit's map is not static. It shifts with the tides of intention and the ebb of resistance. Forces of inertia will conspire to keep it hidden. The cynic's doubt, the skeptic's disdain, and the inertia of habitual thought. Each moment of delay allows the map's integrity to warp, its lines to blur beneath the weight of unawakened wills. Act swiftly, gather your insights, inscribe the glyphs in a notebook consecrated to truth, and share them with those whose hearts resonate with the same frequency. In collective attunement lies the strength to hold the map steady against the currents of deceit. Then comes the moment of enactment. With map in hand and allies by your side, convene at the appointed threshold, be it a lonely rooftop under a full moon, a hidden chamber beneath the city, or within the sanctum of your own meditative practice. There, align the physical coordinates with the spiritual chart. Trace your fingers over the glyphs as you stand upon the corresponding spot in the world, and speak the incantations shaped by your visions. In that sacred confluence, the spirit's design will pour through the portal, animating your strategy with clarity beyond human artifice. Remember, the spirit's map is both guide and gauntlet. It reveals not only the path to revelation, but the trials that await along the way. Each waypoint demands a test of integrity, each nexus a choice between the comfort of shadow and the challenge of light. But for those who heed its lines, the rewards are immeasurable. The collapse of hidden cabals, the ushering of transparent alliances, and the emergence of a new order fashioned in harmony with cosmic will. Stand ready, then, to receive the spirit's cartography. In the quiet tremor of your soul, in the flicker of dreams, and in the subtle alignments of fate, the map awaits. Follow its course with unwavering courage, for through its pathways you will navigate the labyrinth of deception and emerge into the clear realm of purpose. The Spirit will reveal their map, and with it, the destiny of all who dare to read its sacred lines. In the shadowed arena of unfolding events, the keenest advantage lies not in immediate reaction but in silent observation. As the currents of intrigue swirl and the whispers of hidden agendas brush against your awareness, restraint becomes your greatest weapon. Watch without reacting yet. Feel the magnetic pull of urgency as circumstances tighten around your purpose, yet resist the impulse to strike or speak. In the stillness of measured attention, your mind becomes a crystal-clear lake, reflecting every flicker of movement, every ripple of intention, untainted by the turbulence of premature response. It is in this suspended moment, this deliberate suspension of instinct, that you gain access to the raw data of reality, pure and unfiltered. Across clandestine councils and digital battlegrounds, adversaries test one another, probing for weakness, seeking to bait a reveal. They plant false flags, offer veiled provocations, and engineer spectacles meant to elicit an emotional response. Do not take the bait. As the world clamors for a hasty verdict, hold your silence like a blade honed on the whetstone of vigilance. Each passing second you remain still. The map of hidden alliances and conflicting motives grows more detailed. Yet this is no passive game of witness. Your observance is active, strategic. Tune every sense to the subtlest vibrations, the half-smile at a diplomatic summit, the sudden shift in tone during a negotiation, the coded pattern of social media posts that signal an emerging coalition. Catalog each nuance in a ledger of mind, a mental dossier that will guide your future maneuvering. In doing so, you transform the inertia of passivity into the momentum of informed action. Warning: the discipline of silent watching is beset by internal peril. Doubt may gnaw at your conviction. Frustration may whisper that inaction equals impotence. Banish these saboteurs with affirmations of purpose. Remind yourself that true power lies not in rash decisiveness, but in the calm execution of strategy backed by complete knowledge. Keep a journal of observations and fleeting hunches. This archive will crystallize patterns invisible in the heat of the moment. As patterns emerge, networks of collusion, recurring stratagems, predictable triggers, you will know the time to act. The lightning strike of your intervention will be all the more devastating for its delay, for it will strike not at a target guessed, but at a vulnerability fully understood. Your opponents, lulled into complacency by your patience, will find themselves caught in a trap of their own making, unable to discern whether you were always present or have only just arrived. So watch without reacting, yet. Let the world rush toward fracture as you stand apart, gathering truth in the silence of intentional restraint. And when the moment ripens, when every thread of intrigue has been unraveled and the locus of power fully exposed, you will step from the shadows. Your move will be swift, precise, and unanswerable, born of the clarity that only patience can provide. In the war of hidden wills, the silent observer is the one who ultimately shapes destiny. In the theater of cosmic justice, where light serves as both judge and executioner, no instrument is as precise or as unyielding as exposure. When hidden truths are cast into the divine spotlight, they wither under scrutiny and crumble before the weight of revelation. For exposure is God's favorite tool, a sanctified blade that severs falsehood from integrity and lays bare the essence of every secret heart. Feel the tremor in the air as this celestial mechanism begins to whir into motion. Every whispered deceit, every alliance forged in darkness, every compromise cloaked in shadow is marked by an invisible seal awaiting the moment of unveiling. From the hushed sanctums of power to the secret channels of digital manipulation, the architects of concealment believe their work secure until the moment arrives when heaven's hand lifts the veil and the truth blazes forth like a supernova. This is no accidental lapse. It is a divine decree. At precisely the appointed hour, when the convergence of karmic balance and moral reckoning resonates most strongly, the seal breaks. Hidden ledgers ignite with phosphorescent clarity, encrypted codes unravel like threads in a tapestry, and the names of the complicit hover luminously in the public eye. What was once locked away in the vaults of silence becomes a sacred scroll of accountability, readable by all who seek justice. Yet urgency pulses at the core of this cosmic intervention. Once the first hidden filament is illuminated, the divine light spreads with unstoppable momentum. The dominoes of deception, cover-ups, charades, whispered assurances, topple in rapid succession. Those who sought refuge in lies will find no sanctuary. In the glare of sanctified exposure, every falsehood is revealed in its raw, unvarnished form. But within this crucible of divine illumination lies opportunity for redemption. Transparency becomes the path to grace. Those who step forward, confess their part in the subterfuge, and realign their purpose with honesty will find themselves embraced by a higher order. Their contrition kindles a new light, one forged in humility and sustained by truth. Meanwhile, the architects of malevolence will recoil, their stratagems undone by the very force they feared most. Prepare, then, for the moment when the heavens turn their gaze upon concealed intentions. Fortify your spirit with unwavering integrity. Let your conscience be your compass. For when exposure, God's favorite tool, descends like a celestial scalpel, only that which stands in the brilliant light of truth will endure. When midnight strikes, the world holds its breath, and with that single chime, every hidden truth springs into view. In the thin boundary between yesterday's shadows and tomorrow's dawn, a torrent of revelation sweeps through the corridors of power, the hidden vaults of conspiracy, and the silent chambers of personal intent. As the clock's hands meet at 12, the veil that has protected secret alliances and unspoken designs dissolves in an instant, leaving no corner untouched by its luminous force. Feel the surge of electric anticipation as the final seconds tick away. Across continents, clandestine networks brace themselves for exposure. Encrypted messages unravel, coded directives fracture, and the complicit tremble at the thought of their covert machinations laid bare. In corporate boardrooms, covert negotiations shatter into shards of incriminating evidence. In digital backchannels, whispered orders blossom into public confessions. Every clandestine photograph, every furtive correspondence, every whispered promise made in darkness will be unveiled under the unrelenting torch of midnight's revelation. Yet this reckoning is not a blind deluge. It is a scalpel's precision, guided by forces both strategic and ineffable. At the stroke of the witching hour, celestial currents converge with human will, forging a moment of perfect alignment between intention and consequence. Divine justice and worldly strategy intertwine, ensuring that only those prepared, those who have steeled their souls with unwavering integrity, will stand firm when the floodwaters of disclosure surge. For in that decisive instant, mercy hangs in the balance. Confession tempered by sincerity may yet temper the storm, while stubborn defiance will be swept away in the rising tide of truth. But knowledge without action is as useless as a blade in its sheath. As the revelations cascade, you must move with the swiftness of midnight's wings. Identify allies who share your vision of transparency, coordinate rapid strategy sessions, and deploy decisive measures to reclaim narrative control. Turn the onslaught of exposure into an opportunity for transformation. Frame the disclosure of inconvenient facts as a testament to your commitment to honesty, and use the clarity of this moment to forge anew the bonds of trust. Remember, power resides not in the secrets you keep, but in the light you wield. When midnight strikes, you will know everything, but knowing is only the first step. To shape the aftermath, you must act with purpose, courage, and unshakable resolve. Step into the revelation as the architect of your own destiny, and let the truth you command now illuminate the path forward, uncharted but bright with possibility.